Hello viewers, welcome to Big Man Business YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be talking about fertilizer top import and export countries. A fertilizer is any material of natural or synthetic origin that is applied to soil or to plant tissues to supply plant nutrients. Fertilizers may be distinct from liming materials or other non-nutrient soil amendments. Many sources of fertilizer exist, both natural and industrially produced. For most modern agricultural practices, fertilization focuses on three main macronutrients: nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, with the occasional addition of supplements like rock dust for micronutrients. Farmers apply these fertilizers in a variety of ways, through dry or pelletized or liquid application processes, using large agricultural equipment or hand tool methods. If you're new to the Big Man Business YouTube channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell to receive updates on new business expert videos. For more international business news and updates, please visit www.bigmanbusiness.com. Top fertilizers producing countries. Russian Federation is the top country by NPK fertilizers production in the world. As of 2019, NPK fertilizers production in Russian Federation was 7.57 million tons. That accounts for 30.31% of the world's NPK fertilizers production. The other top 5 countries are India, Vietnam, Indonesia, and the Republic of Korea account for 77.40% of it. The world's total NPK fertilizers production was estimated at 25 million tons in 2019. Top fertilizers exports by country. Fertilizers exported by all countries totaled $54.9 billion in 2020, up by 14.1% for all shippers of fertilizers over the 5-year period starting in 2016. From 2019 to 2020, the value of exported fertilizers decreased by -5.9%. Often overlooked in economic studies, fertilizers are critical drivers for growing crops that feed people around the world. The 5 biggest fertilizer exporters are Russia, China, Canada, the United States, and Morocco. Collectively, those major suppliers accounted for 46.9% of globally exported fertilizers during 2020. Among continents, countries in Europe sold the highest dollar worth of exported fertilizers during 2020, with shipments valued at $21 billion or 38.3% of the global total. In second place were Asian exporters at 30.9%, while 16.6% of international fertilizer shipments originated from North America. Another 11.4% were sent from Africa. Smaller percentages of 2.3% came from Latin America, excluding Mexico but including the Caribbean, and Oceania, with 0.5% led by Australia. As for different types of exported fertilizers, about 3/4 or 75.5% were nitrogen-based. Potassic fertilizers represent 20.7% compared to phosphatic fertilizers at 2.1%. Excluding those mineral or chemical fertilizer subcategories, the other type was animal or vegetable fertilizers, which accounted for the remaining 1.7%. Here are the 15 countries that exported the highest dollar value worth of fertilizers during 2020. Russia, with $7 billion, is responsible for 12.7% of total exported fertilizers. China, with $6.6 billion, is responsible for 12% in terms of global fertilizer export. Canada, with $5.2 billion, accounts for 9.4%, United States, with $3.7 billion, accounts for 6.7%, and Morocco, with $3.4 billion, account for 6.2% of total global fertilizer exportation. By value, 15 top exporting countries shipped 72.8% of globally exported fertilizers in 2020. Top fertilizer importing countries. Brazil is the top country by fertilizers import in the world. As of 2019, fertilizers import in Brazil was 1.52 million tons, that account for 8.98% of the world's fertilizers import. The other top 5 countries are China, Spain, Thailand, and Poland, and they account for 30.46% of it. The world's total fertilizers import was estimated at 16.9 million tons in 2019. Most fertilizer-dependent countries in the world. Here are some of the countries in the top 10 list whose fertilizer consumption are highest in the world, as Qatar tops the list with 6,898.70 kg per hectare of the arable land. Singapore uses 2,759.60 kg per hectare of arable land, Seychelles 1,750.00 kg per hectare of the arable land, Malaysia 1,726.60 kg per hectare of the arable land, etc. In Qatar, a large volume of fertilizers is used for raising crops because the country has an arid climate and poor, nutrient-deficit soils. Only 6% of its land is suitable for agriculture. The country is not only the highest consumer of fertilizers but also the fourth largest producer of urea in the world. The Qatar Fertilizer Company produces 5.6 million metric tons of urea and 3.8 million metric tons of ammonia. Singapore stands second in the row of fertilizer usage list of the arable land, as the fertilizer use has changed the face of crop cultivation in the country. The plants have recorded an increase in productivity, photosynthesis, and stress tolerances. Overview of the international fertilizer market. Fertilizer market size was 171,759.7 million in 2020 and will grow at a CAGR of 2.4% from 2021 to 2027. The growing world population coupled with changing dietary preferences is expected to drive fertilizer industry expansion. Fertilizer are materials of synthetic or natural origin that are applied to plant tissues or to soil in order to supply one or more nutrients to plants that are essential for their growth. The global agricultural industry faces a plethora of challenges. According to the United Nations, the global population is expected to grow beyond 9 billion by 2050. This will exert tremendous pressure on the agricultural industry, which is dealing with a loss of productivity due to the shortage of labor and shrinking of agricultural lands due to rapid urbanization. According to the Food and Agricultural Organization, more than 70% of the world population is anticipated to reside in urban areas. The reduction in arable lands across countries is compelling farmers to increase their agricultural output by using fertilizers. Lack of awareness regarding the usage of fertilizers coupled with fertilizer subsidy programs is negatively impacting soil and human health. To increase their output, farmers tend to overuse fertilizers, which is detrimental to the surrounding environment. The lack of personal safety kits to handle and use fertilizers also has an adverse effect on the human body. The dry segment will generate over $175 billion by 2027. Dry or granular fertilizers are easier to store and do not require any special storage conditions. Dry fertilizers are more efficient for heavy pre-plant applications. With polymer-coated urea, they are used for their slow-release mechanisms. With growing agricultural activities, the demand for dry fertilizers is also expected to expand during the study timeframe. Organic fertilizers will follow an upward trajectory. The organic segment will witness over 6% CAGR over the projected period. Organic fertilizers are usually safer to use and are not concentrated compared to inorganic fertilizers. Organic fertilizers are environmentally and ecologically safe and non-toxic. They are considered as best fertilizers for various plants and crops. The growing environmental awareness and the negative impact of using inorganic or synthetic fertilizers have helped various farmers to navigate toward organic farming. Furthermore, the rising demand from consumers for organic agricultural products is expected to propel the fertilizer market revenue. Agriculture segment to remain the dominant force. In 2020, the agriculture segment generated over $70 billion, and will witness significant growth over the anticipated period. Fertilizer applications and agricultural activities for cultivating plants and staple food crops are expected to drive the fertilizer market. Moreover, the increasing demand from Asia Pacific, Africa, and Europe to produce barley, wheat, buckwheat, maize, millets, rice, paddy, etc., will drive fertilizer usage in these regions. The use of fertilizers in agricultural fields to supplement the required elements, such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, found naturally in the soil will drive fertilizer usage for agriculture applications in the market by 2027. Asia Pacific to be the most lucrative region. Asia Pacific is the largest market and accounted for a market share of over 50% in 2020. It is likely to dominate the industry during the study period owing to the increasing demand for fertilizers across the region. Various countries in the region are looking to export agricultural products worldwide to boost their economy and provide employment opportunities to millions of people. For instance, Vietnam and Thailand are exporting a record amount of rice every year. Whereas, India exported close to $4 billion worth of rice in 2020. Furthermore, an increase in investment inflows and government subsidies in the fertilizer sector will enhance product demand in the region. Adoption of product portfolio expansion by various industry players. The fertilizer industry is fragmented with the presence of numerous fertilizer producers globally. As fertilizers are an important tool for increasing agricultural output, various industry participants are working on forming strategic partnerships and joint ventures to increase their geographical footprint and product portfolio. For instance, in 2019, Haifa Group expanded its controlled-release fertilizer facility in France with an additional 8,000 MTPA production capability. This strategy enabled the company to increase its production capability by up to 24,000 MTPA. In 2018, Yara International ASA acquired Vale Cubatão Fertilizantes Complex in Brazil for $255 million. This strategy enabled the company to enhance its nitrogen production assets and market position in the Brazil fertilizer market. Key industry players include Haifa Group, Nutrien Limited, Yara International ASA, CF Industries Holdings Incorporated, Syngenta AG, Bunge Limited, Israel Chemicals Limited, ICL, Indian Farmers Fertilizer Cooperative Limited, IFCO, Sumitomo Chemical Company, Limited, Gabrita, SQM SA, Gemlik Fertilizer Incorporated, Uniquiterra, Band, Bermagubber Fabricalar, AS, etc. Thanks for watching this video. We are open to suggestions. Kindly drop your comments in the comment box and don't forget to subscribe to the Big Man Business YouTube channel. See you in the next video.